Hello, Mr. President. I'm Patty Stockman, and I want to take just a couple of minutes of your time to enlist your help in the face of this horrible coronavirus pandemic. First, let me thank you for your terrific leadership in leading the nation through this. Who knows how many lives have already been saved as a result of your actions. My husband is former Congressman Steve Stockman, and I know that more than one person, including Sidney Powell, have raised his case to your attention. Steve went to Washington twice, to Congress twice, once in the mid-90s, defeating a 42-year incumbent Democrat, and again in 2013 when he came to Washington with Mark Meadows. Both times Steve went to Washington, he came there to do what you came to do, upset the apple cart. In fact, Steve aggressively opposed and worked against the destructive agenda of the Obama administration, and he exposed corruption after corruption very publicly. Consequently, he became the target of this very unjust Department of Justice, something that you've witnessed yourself. Steve Stockman's passions are twofold: protecting our nation and international affairs. He's really pretty fearless. The guy has shot guns with Peshmerga in Kurdistan. He has led a congressional delegation to Nigeria to investigate the atrocities of the Boko Haram, and he's stared in the face of a gun barrel in both Congo and in Iraq. However, I can tell you, President Trump, he is not fearless in the face of this virus. As you know, the virus is running rampant in the federal prison in Louisiana. And Steve just called a bit ago to tell me that the first case has been diagnosed in the housing unit next door to him in the Beaumont, Texas camp where he currently resides. Every time I visit, it's so hard to drive away from there and leave him someplace I know he doesn't belong. Steve is a 63-year-old type 2 diabetic. He has scarred lungs from asthma, and he has high blood pressure and is overweight. He's literally a sitting duck. I know he feels like he's shackled to the middle of the road watching a Mack truck approach quickly. President Trump, I ask you to intervene and set my husband free, to come home to self-quarantine here in the house with me for 14 days, just like Senator Cruz and Mark Meadows and Americans who are returning from travel abroad like they do. To isolate him in solitary confinement in this prison that is so unsafe is not a smart thing to do. Mr. President, I ask you please to intervene so that this unjust sentence that Steve is serving does not become a death penalty, and a death penalty in short order. He's a sitting duck. Thank you, President Trump. If you can't see a way to pardon my husband for this unjust sentence, please commute his sentence, as the 40-some former justice officials have suggested that you do with these nonviolent offenders. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it so greatly.